Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going beyond the usual tutorials and exploring the deeper side of Django framework. One of the most asked Django interview questions, custom management commands. This is a completely practical mini course, and by the end of this video you will be a master in Django custom management commands. Alright, what will be covered in this video? First off, we'll start with understanding what is management commands in Django, and then we will move on to learn the custom management commands. Along with that, we'll also create our own commands that can do specific tasks. When it comes to creating our own logic, definitely we will need validation. We will learn how to apply validations for your custom management command. Once we get hold of the management commands, we will then look at some complex scenarios such as importing data from CSV into the database. Also, the code that we have written should be pushed to the GitHub. So we will set up the GitHub repo and push our work to the GitHub so that you can show your work to your potential employer. With that being said, I'm excited to start this video with you. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Let's get started. Okay, welcome back. When we talk about automations in Django, we have a topic called custom Django management command. I'm sure most of you guys have been working on Django or learning Django as a beginner. You must be knowing we usually run some default commands in order to manage our Django applications. Like python manage.py run server, make migrations, migrate, or create superuser and all that, right? But do you know you can also create your own commands? For example, if you want to create some custom command, maybe python manage.py get the coffee. This is also possible. This is what we call the custom management commands. Okay. Now, before we jump into creating our own commands, let's first understand how does commands work in Django. Let's take an example of a run server command. When you run this command python manage.py run server, you see that it starts the development server, allowing you to test and run your application locally. Okay, so the moment you hit enter, the first thing that gets executed is this manage.py file. It is also called a management script. Okay, so what the script will do is it will import the necessary modules and packages required to set up the Django environment and start the development server. All right, it also initializes the application by loading the settings, middleware, database configurations, and other necessary components that we specify in the settings.py file. Okay, and then sets up the lightweight server using the Python's built-in module called HTTP server. Okay, and then it also listens to the requests using the IP address 127.0.0.1 with a port number 8000, which is the default port for Django. Okay, and it also processes the views. Okay, views can contain the business logic, database querying, and all of that, right? So many other things will also happen when you run run server command. Now all these things happens under the hood. You cannot see it happening, but it just happens like a magic, right? So this is the best example of automation. You run one command python manage.py run server and so many things gets executed automatically. Okay, so similarly we have collect static command. We have like python manage.py make migrations and migrate command, and we have create superuser command. They all do their job in the background. Okay, so these are all automated commands. Okay, now in case we have a custom idea that we want to automate it, maybe we want to run one command and import the large data set into a database. As I said, large can be millions and billions of records. Okay, so we can make use of this custom management command. So these automations can save a lot of time. All right. However, in this video, we'll create our Django project. And before that, I want to again remind you, if you are learning Django for the first time, this course is definitely not for you. You must have a basic knowledge of Django before you start working on these automation projects, because the topics that are covered in this course is not at all beginner friendly. Okay, so it's actually a deeper side of Django framework. So that's why I recommend, if you are a beginner, please enroll to my Django course before you start this course. If you want to take my free course, then that is okay. Or if you want to learn Django or get started with the Django, using any other online sources, that is well and good also. Okay, and if you want to take my free course, then you can actually go to this wait, let me show you. You can go to ratank.com/free Django. Okay, so you can go to this site, and from here you can actually enroll this course. Okay, so this is actually a 4 hours course, and there is one assignment, and there are 2 practical projects as well. So I think this course is enough for you to get started with the Django. All right, so once this course is done, and you should then look into this automation project. All right, so with that said, let's create our first Django project. Now let's I'll just quickly minimize all these things. So on the desktop, I'm going to create a new folder. Okay, so the project name I want to give now, so I can actually give automate with Django, right? Instead of saying automate with Django, I'll say AWD. Okay, so this is just a folder name, or I can say AWD means it can be automate with Django. Okay, so nothing special in this. All right, so I'll create one folder on my desktop, and next what I want is I want the terminal and the VS Code or the code editor. What I'll do is I'll actually open up my code, Visual Studio Code. All right, okay, so what I've done here is I've created my AWD folder, and I'll drag it here. Okay, drag and drop. Okay, and in terms of the terminal, if you are using Windows, you can install git bash. So this how to install git bash, that is also here in this course. Let me show you. I'm sorry, where is it? Okay, so in this free course, you will see getting started, software installation, right? So in this software installation, you will see how to install git bash if you want to go with git bash. Okay, if you don't want to go with the git bash, then that is okay. You can use command prompt or PowerShell. Okay, and next, let me open up this again. So here is my AWD folder. I'm going to, okay, I have already dragged and dropped it over here, and here I need to actually open up my new terminal. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to actually create the virtual environment, right? So to create a virtual environment, you know this very well, Python -m venv env is your virtual environment name. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. So here my virtual environment is created. I'll quickly go into virtual environment, source env. Okay, so I'm using Mac now, so this cannot be scripts. Okay, if you're using Windows, it is scripts. If you're using Mac, it is bin. Okay, source env bin activate. All right, as you can see, my virtual environment is activated. The next thing I want to install Django. Right now I don't have anything inside my virtual environment. If you want to check that, you can simply run pip freeze. Okay, so currently this env is empty. Okay, because we created this virtual environment just now. Okay, so that's why it is empty now. So inside this empty virtual environment, we want to install Django. Okay, so to install Django, simply say pip install Django, and don't go to mention any version number here. If you want to install a specific Django version, then you can say pip install Django equal 4.2 or something, but I won't recommend it, because always go for Django's latest version. Right now Django's latest version is 5.0. okay, so you can either say 5.0 or you can simply leave it as it is. Okay, just say pip install Django and it will install the latest version of Django. Okay, so and here you can see Django 5.0.1 is installed. Okay, so and if you see this warning, you can ignore it. Okay, so as you can see, 5.0.1 is installed, and the next thing you want to do is you can simply check the pip freeze again, and verify whether Django is installed or not. You see Django 5.0.1 is here, and ASGIRef and SQL Pass and other things. These are all the dependency packages of Django. Okay, so it comes with the Django installation. All right, so now that we have installed Django latest version, which is 5.0.1, and now we can actually create the project, right? So for that, you can say Django admin start project, and let's say awd main, okay, space 1 dot here. Okay, so this command is Django admin start project awd main. So why I am naming it as awd main? Because we are going to create multiple apps in this Django project. So I just want to figure out which folder is my main folder. Okay, main project folder. So that is the reason I use underscore main. Okay, and next I put one dot here because I want this project to be created on the root directory. All right, so that's why I put dot. All right, hit enter now. Okay, so it has created the awd main folder and the command is still getting executed. Okay, so this command has been executed, and you see the manage.py and other things as well, right? Okay, so at this point you can run python manage.py run server. Don't worry about this 18 unapplied migrations. However, we are going to run this migrate command later, but for now let's verify whether our Django website is working or not. Okay, let's go to the browser and let's see 127.0.0.1:8000. Okay, just run, and you see the install worked successfully. Okay, so yeah, this is about how you can set up the Django website. Okay, let's create our first custom command in Django. We will start with the basic command and then we will increase the complexity of the command step by step. Let's start with creating one simple command. Maybe we will create a hello world command. Okay, so let's see how it goes. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to actually create an app. Okay, so I hope you know how to create the app, right? So it is very simple. Python manage.py start app, and then the app name we will say data entry. Okay, so python manage.py start app data entry. So the app has been created, and as you know, the moment you create the app, you first need to go to the settings and you have to register this app. Okay, say data entry. All right, and then in order to create the custom command, you have to go to this app directory and create a new folder. Okay, so inside this data entry, you have to create the new folder and name it as management. Okay, so because this is a management commands. So inside this management, you create another folder, call it as commands. Okay, so these two things are very important. Inside the app, create a folder called management, and inside that management folder, create another folder called commands. Now inside this commands folder, you create files. Okay, so first we will say hello world.py. So this hello world is nothing but the command name. Okay, for example, you have created hello world.py, so that means your command will be python manage.py hello world. Okay, so that's how it is. Now inside this hello world file, we are going to write everything about the custom management commands. Okay, so first of all, we have to import a base command. All right, so base command will actually come from django.core.management.base. Okay, import base command. Okay, so using this base command is essential when creating custom management commands. It provides foundation and a set of methods that we can use to get our command do its job. Okay, so every command that we run in Django will go through this base command. Okay, so this is actually the base of all the commands. All right, so that's why we need to import the features or functionalities and methods of this base command in our custom commands. All right, so now next thing what you have to do is you have to create a class called command. Okay, so this command will actually inherit base command. So this is nothing but our class command will actually inherit all the features of this base command. Okay, so not only all the features, it will also inherit the attributes and methods as well. All right, so let's make use of some attributes and methods in our custom commands also. All right, so now the first thing is the help attribute. Okay, so just say help is equal to, so this is just a short description of what this hello world command is going to do. Okay, so of course hello world command is going to print the hello world, right? So you can say print, it prints hello world. Okay, print hello world, that's it. By the way, how to see the help messages, right? So for example, first save this file and I'll show this help message in this terminal. If you run this python manage.py hello world and then hyphen help. Okay, now here just scroll up, here you can see prints hello world. Okay, the same thing. Now every command in Django has its own help attribute. For example, if you want to see what is the help message of run server command, python manage.py run server hyphen help, you can see starts a lightweight web server for development and also serves static files. Similarly, if you want to check collect static hyphen help, you can see collect static files in a single location. All right, so these are actually the help message for each commands. Okay, let me clear that terminal. Next comes is the important method called handle. Okay, so this is actually a method or function, handle. All right, so this handle method is the main entry point for your commands logic. Okay, so this is where you write all the logic that needs to be performed when you run this command. Okay, and this handle method takes 3 parameters: self, args, comma, kw args. Okay, so self is nothing but the instance of this class itself. Okay, so whenever you create a function inside a class, then you must pass self as a parameter. All right, so you must remember that. And then it is star arg. So this args represents any positional arguments that might be passed to the command. Although args is rarely used in custom commands, but we mostly use kw args or keyword args. So this kw args represents any keyword arguments that might be passed to the command. We will see more about these args and keyword args later in this section. Okay, so don't worry about how these things work. All right, and next inside this handle function we write the logic. Okay, so whatever logic we want to perform for this hello world command, we have to put that here inside this handle function. Now of course we write the logic, right? After writing the logic, we want to do some kind of output, right? So that's why we should say self dot std out, self dot std out dot write. So this is the way we print the message on the terminal. All right, now because this is a hello world, very simple command, we'll simply say hello world. All right, now this command is complete. This is ready to run. Let me run python manage.py hello world. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, now you can see hello world is printed, right? So this is a very simple command. In the future lectures, we are going to see more complex commands. Okay, now that we have created a simple custom command hello world, we got the basic understanding of how it is working. Now I want to create another custom command. Let's call it as greeting. In this greeting command, we will simply print hi Ratan, good morning, or some other kind of greeting. Okay, and then we will slowly try to increase the complexity of the command. All right, so first of all, we have the app and we already have the management folder, and we also have the commands folder, right? So inside this commands folder, we will create another new file and we will say greeting. Okay, greeting.py, so that our command will be python manage.py greeting. Okay, so let's create this file. And you know what, I want you guys to write this whole thing manually. I don't want you to copy this and paste it here. Okay, so let's try to write this again. Okay, just for practice. Okay, so first of all, we will import the base command, right? From Django.core, from Django.core management.base, import base command. Okay, from Django core management base, import base command. Next step is to create a class command. Okay, next step is to create a class command. It will actually inherit the base command, right? Let's pass this base command here. All right, next, you remember we need help, right? So this is a help message for this greeting command, which will be prints greeting or greets the user. Okay, greets the user. All right, next we want to write the logic, right? How to write the logic? We have a function called handle. Okay, so this handle function will take 3 parameters: self, comma, args, and then keyword args, kw args. Okay, now let's write the logic. So this will be, in terms of this greeting, we need self. We just want to print the greeting. Maybe we'll say self dot std out, dot write. All right, so here we will simply write, hi Ratan, good morning. Okay, hi Ratan, good morning. All right, so this is also a very simple command. This is just the same as this one, right? So this is also static and this one is also static. Okay, now let's run this command, python manage.py greeting. Okay, now you can see, hi Ratan, good morning. All right, now what we will do is, so instead of printing a static value here, we will pass this Ratan dynamic. Okay, so this is actually a name, right? So if I want to print hi John, good morning, okay, that should also be possible, right? So that's the reason we want this name to be dynamic. All right, so how to do this? Before that, what I'll do is I will actually write proposed output. Okay, so I'll say proposed output. Proposed output is this one. Okay, maybe I'll say proposed command will be python manage.py greeting. Okay, and then I want to pass the name with the command itself. Okay, so that's why what I'll do is, after greeting, to whom we want to greet, correct? So we will tell the command a name to whom we want to greet, right? So in this case, if you want to say John, so what this command will do is, it will take this John from here and it will put that inside the arguments. Okay, so this is actually our proposed command. And what is our proposed output? Let's say this is proposed output, right? So our proposed output will be hi name. Okay, so hi name, this will be our dynamic name. Hi name, good morning. Okay, so whatever name we pass from the command will go here. Okay, so that when we print the output, it will be hi John, good morning, hi Joseph, good morning, something like that. All right, so we'll try to implement that. So to do that, we have another inbuilt function called add arguments. So we specify that function in here. After help text, we'll say add underscore arguments. Oh, I'm sorry, add arguments. Okay, So this add arguments will take self. Of course, self is a must because this add arguments function is inside this class command, right? So that's why we must pass self, and it will also take parser. Why we are taking parser? So this parser will allow us to write extra arguments in front of this command. Okay. So if you don't pass this and this, you cannot write John here, you will definitely get the error. Okay. So that's why we pass parser here. And then what we need to do is we need to specify whatever dynamic content or whatever argument we want to pass with the command. Okay, so how to do that? In our case, we want to pass name, right? We want to pass the name with this command, right? So that's why what we will do is we will say parser, okay, parser dot add argument, add underscore argument, okay, parser dot add argument. This is a function. Okay, so inside this function, it will first take the name. Okay, so in our case, our proposed output is this: hi Ratan, good morning. Hi John, good morning, right? So that's why this is name, and this name is actually a string, right? So this string, of course, the first thing will be the name of the argument. In this case, the name of the argument itself is a name. Okay, so if you want to pass any number or something else, maybe you can say count or something. Okay, so in our example, it is just name. Okay, and then the type of the argument will be type is equal to str. Okay, we want to also pass the type to this add argument function, which is str, because the name is string, right? And then we will also pass help text. Okay, so help text is equal to, let's say, specifies user name. Okay, specifies username. All right, so I will also show you where this help shows up. Okay, so this is the argument level help text, and this is the command level help text. Okay, I'll show you how these both help text shows up. Okay, so once we have added the argument to this add arguments function, then this will be automatically executed. Okay, so this function will be automatically executed when this greeting command executes. Okay, so that means this name will be accessible from here as well, from this handle as well. Okay, why? This is nothing but the keyword arguments, right? So now what I'll do is I will say name is equal to kw args. Okay, kw args. Why I'm accessing this kw args? It is because this is the keyword arguments. Okay, so that means this handle function will accept any kind of keyword arguments. All right, so that's why we can access this kw args. Inside this kw args, we have something called name. Okay, we have something called name. All right, so now we have the name here. Okay, we got the name here, and now we will format the greeting. Okay, so this will be our full greeting. So we will say greeting will be, I want to dynamically pass the name, right? So that's why I'll say f and like this. Okay, f hello, maybe hi. After hi, I need to say curly braces. Inside the curly braces, I will pass this name. Okay, I'll pass this name. Hi name, good morning. Okay, hi name, good morning. So this is our final greeting. So this final greeting will go inside this output. Okay, will go inside this write function. All right, now if I say python manage.py greeting, okay, let's not run greeting right now, we'll first say see help. Okay, so python manage.py greeting -- help. Let's see where we get. So this is actually greets the user, which is this command help text, and there is one positional arguments specifies the username, which is, yeah, here it is. Okay, so that's where you see the command level help text and the argument level help text. Okay, and now we will try to run this greeting. All right, we got this error now. So that is because we have not passed the name attribute. So that's why we got the error. Okay, so this parser function accepts the name. Okay, otherwise, handle function will throw error. So that's why we should say, as you can see here, proposed command will be python manage.py greeting John, right? So we must pass John here. Now let's see. Here you can see, hi John, good morning. Now let's say, we'll say Mike, and you can see, hi Mike, good morning. Okay, so that's how we print the dynamic variable inside the handle function. Now if you want to print any kind of error, instead of this std out, simply say std err, that is actually error. Okay, std error dot write then greeting. Let's see how it, yeah, you can see it is in the red color. Okay, so yeah, it is useful when you want to show error in the console, or if you want to show some success message in the console, that is also possible. So how to do that? So this is also very simple. So I'll revert it back to std out, and inside the write function I will say self dot style dot, I'll say success. Okay, and then inside this success function I'll put this greeting. Okay, so save this and again run, and here you can see, hi Mike, good morning. Okay, you might have seen in the command line, we often see success messages in green color, error message in red color, and something like that, right? So if you want to remove this success and put it warning, okay, because more often we deal with warnings and errors, right? So you can do that in yellow color as well. Okay, so this is just a simple thing, and I will actually revert it back to success. Okay, so yeah, that's about the simple custom management commands in Django. In the next video, we will try to implement the real use cases of the data entry functionality. All right, before we start looking at the real use cases of data entry, we'll first set up the Superuser and migrate the database. Okay, so we are not going to change the database. By default, we have this SQLite database, right? So we will continue to use this SQLite database, and on this SQLite database itself, we will run the migrate command. So if you look at python manage.py run server, we have 18 unapplied migrations because we want our default tables to be created. So let's run a python manage.py migrate. Okay, so now that we have the database migrated, we'll create python manage.py create superuser. Okay, create superuser. So I'll put my username Django admin. I'll put my email address developer.rathan@gmail.com, and my password, confirm password. All right, super user created successfully, and I'll first go to my admin panel and check if things are good. So I'll log in, and okay, so my admin backend is ready. So in the next one, we will configure Git for our project. Okay, so once we are ready with the Git, we want to push all the code to the GitHub repository, right? So that is the reason I want this project to be Git initialized. So that's why we'll first set up the Git repository and we'll start working on the data entry use cases. At this point, we will set up the Git on our project. But why should we use Git? Well, using Git helps you track the progress, and it stores your work securely, and you can access your code from anywhere. It's like a time machine. It lets you see how your project improves over time. Plus, your employers can see your skills and project in one place, right? Another reason why I want you to push your code to the GitHub is because when you need help from me throughout the course, most of the time I will want to see your code in order to help you fix the issue. You can simply send me your Git repository link, and I can easily see your code and come up with the solution. With that said, let's create a new repository. Okay, so go to github.com, and if you don't have the GitHub account yet, just click on this sign up and get yourself signed up from here. Okay, so I already have a GitHub account. I'll log in from here. All right, from here you can click on this new repository. So let's give this repository a name, automate with Django. Okay, automate with Django. And here you can give some, you can write some description about this project. And there is this public and private visibility options. If you set this repository as public, then anyone on the internet can see this repository. Otherwise, only you can see the repository. Okay, for the time being, I'm going to set this repository as private. And once this project is completed and launched, then I will set it as public. Okay, so for now it will be private in my case, and in your case you set this as public. Okay, and then create repository. All right, these are the commands that you need to run in order to push your code to the GitHub. Okay, so currently this repository is empty, and in order to push your code to the GitHub, then you will have to run these commands. Okay, so before I run these commands, I want to show you something else. It is called .gitignore. Okay, you know that when we push our code to the GitHub, all the folders, files, images, and other stuff will be gone to the GitHub repository. But sometimes we don't want to send all the files to GitHub for security reasons. For example, we don't want to send the env folder. If you want to see here in our project, we don't want to send this env folder to the GitHub. Same way, we don't want to send our database to the public repository, right? And because in this database, there are a lot of things that we don't want to expose it to the public, right? The same way, we don't want to send our media folder or files, images, and all that stuff that was uploaded by users, right? We don't want to send those files to the GitHub as well. All right, so for that reason we use .gitignore file. It's just a simple file that we put in our project directory. Okay, so if you specify any folder name or any file name in this file, then that file will not be tracked or pushed to the GitHub. Okay, so first of all, let's create a new file on this project directory. Okay, click on this new file icon and say .gitignore. Okay, .gitignore. Okay, so inside this file we are going to put the files and folders names. There is some set of default files and folders you can put in your .gitignore file. Let me go to the browser and go to gitignore.io. Okay, go to this gitignore.io, and here you say Django. Okay, so click on this Django from the drop down and click on that create button. Here it has created all the all the necessary things that should not go to the what is saying synergy. Okay, don't worry about this. Okay, so these are actually the files and folders that should not go to the GitHub repository. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll say Control A and copy everything from here and go to this .ignore file and paste it here. Okay, just save it. That's all. You don't need to do anything else. Everything is already excluded here. All right, you can see db.sklat3 is here. That means when we push the code to the GitHub, then this db.sklat3 will not go to our GitHub or public repository. Okay, same way media is also here. Okay, media will not also go. Okay, many other things, even I don't know. Okay, so these things are actually server things. All right, anyways, with that said, let's move on to our repository here. Okay, so here you can see these are the commands. Okay, let's try to run these commands one by one. So first of all, let's run gitignore. I mean git init. I'm sorry. So here I'll run this git init. Okay, All right, you can see initialized empty Git repository in this path. By running this git init command, our project will now become Git project. Okay, so that means your code can now be tracked by Git. This command will actually add a folder named .git. You can see here. Okay, so if you want to see that folder again, if you put ls, okay, so from ls it is not showing. If you say ls-a, then you can see .git folder is created because of this git init command. All right, so this .git folder includes all the necessary files to track your project and code. Okay, and you should not delete this folder unless you don't want this project to be Git project. Okay, and then next command is our git add. Okay, so this git command is actually the way of getting your code or stuff ready before you officially save your progress. Okay, imagine you're getting ready to pack your stuff for a trip, and when you use git add, it's like picking out the things that you want to take with you and putting them in your suitcase, right? So that's how this git add command works. Hey, you're telling git that hey, these are the changes I want to include in my next update. Okay, if you want to see that in action, you can actually run this one, git add. Then if you want to add this manage.py, you can simply say manage.py. Okay, so this means this manage.py will be committed or pushed to the GitHub in the next update. All right, but you know what, we don't want to specify any one file or one folder. We just want to specify git add dot or -a. So this means we are telling Django that get everything ready for the official save. All right, so that's how git add works. All right, and then of course, yeah, we need to put this run this command git add -a. Okay, so if you say git status, you will see there are many folders and files that needs to be pushed to the GitHub, and these are the tracked file. Okay, so these are all the tracked file because these are green colored, right? If any file is not tracked, so that file will be in red color. Okay, all right, and then next we have the git commit, right? So this git commit is actually the official save of your project. Okay, so when you run this git commit command, it's like taking the snapshot of your project at that exact moment. Okay, you're saying, hey git, remember everything I have done so far. All right, so far what we have done these custom commands, we have written this code and all that. So that's why we are saying git that by running this git commit -m, we are saying git that remember everything I have done so far. Okay, so for example, for this save point, I want to tell git that I have created 2 custom commands, hello world and greeting. Okay, so you can hit enter now. All right, now you can see everything has been committed. And next, git branch -m. Okay, let me copy this. I'll paste this, and this git branch -m means when you create a new repository, the default branch that comes with the git called master. Okay, so that's where your code is being stored. However, many developers prefer default branch name to be main branch rather than master. By running this git branch -m main, we are setting the default branch name to be main in our repository. Okay, just run this command, and then we have this one, git remote add origin, and then this then this path. All right, so this is actually let me first paste this, and this command is like giving your project a destination address. Okay, you're telling git where to send the code so that other people on the internet can also see your code. Git remote add origin. Origin is actually the name for this destination. Okay, hit enter. And then last command we want to run. So this is the git push -u origin main. Git push origin main. So this is the final command that is used to send your code to the GitHub. Here you specify the origin and the branch. Origin is the name that you gave to that online destination, and then the main is the name of the branch. Okay, git push -u and origin main. Hit enter. At this point, all the code will be gone to your Git repository. Okay, so if you go back to your repository and refresh, you can see all the code has been pushed to our GitHub. Okay, and here the one thing to notice is you see in our project directory we have a db.sqlite3, but in our in this repository we don't have SQLite3 database here, right? That is because we are using .ignore file. Same way we don't have the env folder as well. Okay, so these are the safest things that we can publish in our public repository. Okay, so that's how we push the code to the GitHub. And you might feel it is little confusing stuff, but don't worry, as you keep working on it, you will definitely start to like GitHub. However, this course only concentrates on Django framework, so I'm not going too deep into all the topics about GitHub. Even if you don't understand GitHub very well, you're not going to face any issues in this course. Okay, so with that said, this is our project push to the GitHub, and you can always see the Git status if you want to know whether there is any pending or untracked changes exist in your project. All right, so right now we just pushed the code, so that's why we don't have anything inside the Git status. You see, nothing to commit, right? But if you put something here, testing Git, just save it, and now if you look at this Git status, you can see Git is actually tracking our code, right? So it has tracked that we have modified this hello world file. You see this hello world file, right? So that's how it is, and we'll see more about GitHub in the future videos. And that's it for this video, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, welcome back. In this video, let's see some use cases about the data entry. Let's consider we want to add some data to the database using the custom command. How can we achieve that? Okay, so first of all, we want to create the custom command, right? So let's go to this commands folder and create a new file. And our requirement is actually we want to add some data to the database, right? So accordingly, we will write the command name, which is insert data. Okay, insertdata.py. All right. So first of all, I'll write down the requirements. I'll say I want to add some data to the database using the custom command. Okay, so this is my requirement, right? So here are two things. First thing is this one custom command I want to create, and using the custom command I want to populate or insert some data to the database. All right, so let's go ahead and create the custom command first. So how to create the custom command? It is easy now because we have created two commands already, greeting and hello world, right? First of all, let's go ahead and if you want to copy this, you can copy this. Otherwise, you can write it down here. Okay? I prefer writing it down as a beginner, you guys. Okay. Otherwise, you can simply copy this. Right. So I want you to write it with me. Okay. So at this point, I don't want to copy things. Okay. Because if you write it down 2-3 times, then you will remember this thing. Okay. So from Django.core.management.base, right? From this base, we are going to import base command, right? So once we are done with importing base command, next step is to create a class, right? Class name will be command, right? So this command will inherit base command. All right. So here we will have the help text, which will be this one. It will insert data to the database. Will insert data to the database. And next we need to create a function called handle. Okay. So this handle will take self, comma, args, comma, aw args. All right. Now next self dot std out dot write. This is for printing the output. Okay. So here what I'll write is maybe inside the, I want to make it in green color because a self dot style dot success. So inside here you say data inserted successfully. Okay. So now our insert data command is ready. If you run python manage.py insert data, right? Now you can see data insert successfully. Okay, of course, this is just a message, and here we are going to write the logic. Logic goes here. So inside here, we are going to write the logic for adding the or inserting the data into the database. All right. Now, when we want to send the data to the database, we need the database table, right? For that, in Django, we need the models, right? Go to data entry app, and then we have this models.py. Let's first get our database table ready. So we will take an example of a student. Okay, so let's create a class student. We'll take models.model. I'm sure you know the basics of Django, right? So that's why I'm not telling you how I'm doing this stuff. Okay, so this is how we create models. Okay, so first of all, I'll say roll number, that is equal to models dot char field, models dot char field, max length is equal to 5. Let me put this 10. Then I'll say name is equal to models dot char field, max length is equal to 20, and then I will take another field, that is age, models dot char field. Maybe it cannot be a char field, it is age is a number, right? So that's why we'll say integer. Okay, now let's make the string representation of this model. Str method, it will take self and return render. Oh, I'm sorry, it is not return render, it is return self dot name. Okay, self dot name. Okay, so the model is ready. Next thing, we want to migrate it, right? Python manage.py make migrations. Python manage.py migrate. All right, so our table is set up now, and in order to see this table inside the admin panel, we need to register this inside this admin.py. Okay, so from dot models import what? Student, right? And then admin dot site dot register, you'll say student. Okay, so now this is done. All right, and next let me run the server. Run the server and go to my admin panel. All right, here you can see student data entry app is there and the students table is there. From here you can add, of course you know this, from here you can add the student. Now what if we want to add the data from the custom command, right? So I'll go to the code. So here this is my custom command, Insertdata.py. All right, so whatever logic we want to write, we will write here. Okay, so the custom command is very simple. While adding just one data, we'll start from adding one data. Okay, and then we will move on to add a multiple data, and we'll do some validation also. Okay, so first thing, let's say I want to add one data. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll say student, student dot objects dot create. Okay, you know what, I want to import a student, right, from data entry dot models, import student model. Okay, first thing, you have to import student model. All right, and then we will run the create query, and here inside this models, what we have is a roll number, a name, and age, right? We want to feed these three fields, right? So here what I'll do is I'll say name is equal to Ratan, comma. Okay, first I'll say roll number, right? Roll number is equal to 1001, comma, a name is equal to Ratan, and age is equal to 20. Okay, so this is just a simple demo data. And you know what, this roll number actually can be integer field. Okay, so by mistakenly I wrote the character field, but it's okay, it's just a sample data, and this line of code will actually insert the data in the database. All right, let's run this insert data command. All right, python manage.py insert data. Let's see what happens. Okay, now you can see data inserted successfully. All right, and if you go to this admin panel and refresh, okay, I'm sorry, I should actually run server, run the run server command, and I'll refresh, and here you can see data has been added, 101, name and age. All right, so this was very simple. Okay, only one line of code. Now let's say if you want to add multiple data. Okay, so at that time what we'll do is I'll remove this. So let's say if I want to add one static data set, what I'll do is I'll say dataset is equal to. So in terms of adding dataset, we use a list of dictionaries. Okay, list of dictionaries. So dataset, it is actually a dictionary now, and inside the dataset, it is actually a list now. Okay, not a dictionary. So inside the list, we will create a dictionary. Okay, we'll create a dictionary and say the field name, which is it is roll number. Okay, we'll say roll number and colon 1002. Okay, and then the name will be Sachin, or maybe I should actually put that inside the quotation. Okay, Sachin, and comma age. Okay, age like this, age is equal to not equal, it is colon. Okay, age colon 2021. All right, and put one comma here. Same way, if I have 3 records, right, roll number will be 103, name will be John, and age is 22, and this roll number will be 1004, then Mike, age is 23. Okay, so I have one simple data set. Okay, now I want to insert this data set into this student table. Okay, so how to do that? So it is also very simple. What I'll do is, so because this is a data set, what I want to do here is I want to loop through this data set. Okay, for data in data set, so here I will first comment out this line, and also I'll comment out this line. I want to show you what is inside this data. Okay, so I will simply print data of name. Okay, I want to print this one. Okay, so just save this and run this command, python manage.py insert data, and here you can see, your name is inside the data of a name, right? So same way, if you put roll number here, if you run this command, and you can see 102, 103, 104, right? So that means we can use this one in our query now. All right, so what I will do is directly run the query. So this query will actually go inside the for loop. Okay, for data in dataset, I'll create the data student.objects.create. This time roll number is equal to the dynamic data we are getting from this dataset, which is data of, as I shown you, data of roll number. Okay, similarly, name is equal to, remove the static name and we'll say data of name, right? And then age also, it will be data of age, right? So now once this is done, we will simply print data inserted successfully. Okay, so this is the code to insert the data set if it is in the form of list of dictionary. All right, let's run this insert data again, and here you can see data inserted successfully. Okay, so let me see the admin panel, refresh. Okay, again, I'm sorry. Let me first run the server and then I can access this thing. Okay, refresh. If I refresh, you see Mike is inserted and John is inserted and other data is also inserted. All right, so this was the basic thing, and in the next one we will level up the complexity of this, and we will add some little validation to this function or the command. All right, we have created an insert data command. This command is actually inserting this static data set. Now I want to make this command a little bit smarter. I want to check whether the data that I'm trying to insert is already exist in the database. If it exists, then I don't want to insert that same record again. Only if there is any new record, then my command should insert. Otherwise, it should give me the warning or error. Okay, so currently this insert data command is not smarter. If you run insert data command again and again, then it is going to insert this same data set again and again in the database. So that should not happen. So let's put some simple validation to prevent this. Okay, first of all, I'll actually say, based on this roll number, okay, based on this roll number, I want to check whether this roll number exists in the database. Okay, so what I'll do is, first of all, I'll take a name, roll number. Okay, roll number is actually this one, right? Data of roll number. Okay, data of roll number. So first of all, I want to say existing record. Okay, existing record is equal to, first I want to filter this roll number. Okay, so I'll say student dot objects dot filter. Okay, so in the filter, I'll say roll number is equal to this roll number. Okay, roll number is equal to roll number, and just run exists method on this. Okay, so this will actually check if this roll number exists in this database table. All right, so this is the query, student.objects filter roll number is equal to roll number. We just want to check whether this exists or not. If you don't put this exist, what will happen? This query will store the result of this student query set inside this existing record. I don't want the query set. I just want to check whether this exists or not. Okay, true or false. So that is why I'll say exists. Okay, dot exist. It will just say true or false. Okay, now I know that in this existing record variable, I have a true or false boolean value. Okay, at this point, I can actually say if not existing record. Okay, if not existing record, then what I will do, I will simply cut this. Okay, so that means if the record does not exist, okay, so if this is false, okay, so this roll number does not exist, then it will store false, right? So in that case, if not existing record, then I will add this data of roll number. All right, otherwise in the else case, I will simply say the else case, I can say I'll simply copy this and put this here, self dot std out dot write self dot style, you can say error or warning. Yeah, I'll say warning. I'll say, let's format this, if student with a roll number, student with roll number, this roll number, okay, student with roll number, wait, here already exists. Okay, so this is the warning message, and if these things run successfully, then we can just say data inserted successfully. All right, and next we will give some other data in this data set. I'll copy this and I'll put some new things here. 5, maybe I'll say Joseph, and 25. I'll change this 1006. I'll put Michael. Okay, so yeah, here as you know, this data was already inserted in the database. We should get the warning for this 1002. Also, we should get the warning for this 1004 because this one already exists in the database. Okay, so this is how the code is for checking whether the data exists in the database. Let's see if this works or not. Okay, so all right, python manage.py insert data. All right, now you can see we got 2 warnings. Data with roll number 1002 already exists, and data with roll number 1004 already exists, right? So because of course 1002 was already there in the database, and a remaining data inserted successfully. Okay, 106 and 105 should be in the database. Let me refresh. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me run this again. Refresh. Okay, so this is 1005 and this is 1006. Okay, so this one was actually 1002. It was already exist, right? So that's why it did not add the same record again and again. Okay, so that's how we add the simple validation to our custom Django command. Okay, so in the next one we will try to insert the data from the CSV. Okay, so this was just a list of dictionary, right? So in real life we never want to store the data in using this list of dictionaries. Of course we will have to use the big data set, or hundreds, thousands and millions of records. So that's the reason we use a CSV format. So we will see how to insert the data from the CSV to the database. All right, now we know how to insert data from the list of dictionaries like this, right? But what if we have the large data set in a CSV format? We should be able to import the large data set as well, right? So that's what we are going to build in this video. So in this video, let's create a new command. We will call it as import data. All right, so first of all, I'm going to create a new file and I'll name it as import data, import data.py. All right, now first of all, let's make this set up the command. First thing, I'll import this base command. Okay, so if you want to write it down, you can go ahead and write again. Okay, I'm actually going to use this student table again. Okay, so if needed, we will create a new model as well. All right, so for now, let's use the student table. And then of course, I'll write the proposed command here. So proposed command is Python manage. Okay, all right, I think it got deleted. Yeah. So Python manage.py import data. Okay, and then with this import data, we also need to provide the file name or the CSV file, right? So that's why we also need to provide the file path for the CSV file. All right, so this will be our command. All right, now let's create a class which is class command, and then we'll say help. Help is equal to what this command is going to do. This will actually import data from CSV file. Okay, import data from CSV file, and then we'll create a handle function. Handle will actually take these three parameters: self, args, and keyword args. We copy that and paste it here. All right, after that, let's print the output. Okay, copy this and print this output. All right, so at this point our command is set up, and if you want to run that, Python manage.py import data. And you know what, I should not enter this file name right now, okay, because I'm not taking any arguments here. So you know, this function add arguments, we're not using this add arguments yet. Of course we are going to add the arguments in this import data as well, but I just want to see if this is working or not. Okay, so let me run Python manage.py import data, and my command is working now. In order to get this file path working, or in order to accept the file path with this command, we need to do something like this, right? We need to take the function add arguments, right? Okay, I'm not going to copy this. I'm going to write this manually. This is add arguments. Okay, add arguments. And this will actually take self and parser. What this parser will do is it will allow us to take the file path or the arguments with the command. Okay, so that's why we'll have to say self comma parser. Okay, one or two times we write things manually. After that we will keep copy and pasting the code. Okay, so then parser dot add argument, parser dot add argument. Okay, and also you can add any number of arguments, right? So currently we are only adding one argument because we only want to take the file path. Okay, so if you want to take something else, then you should actually add another add argument. Okay, like this. All right, so I will show that to you in the future lectures, but for now we only have one file path. We'll take that file path. Where is it? Yeah, after that name, this is not the name now, so this will be the file path. Okay, so add argument will actually take file path, and then once we accept this file path, then we want to also take the type. Okay, type is actually str. We can consider it as a string. All right, and then the help, right? So help is equal to what can be the help message? Path to the CSV file. Okay, path to the CSV file. All right, now we accept the file path. Then what we'll do is all the logic will go here, right? Logic goes here. Okay, first thing, we will take file path from this keyword arguments. All right, so let's say file path is equal to what? kw args. Okay, kw args, which is path name is this file path, right? Now let's print the file path now. Let's print the file path now. And where is the file? Well, I have this file in my computer. I'm going to attach this file in this video. You can download it from the resource section. Okay, so what is inside this file? It is just a very simple student data. It has like 50 data. Okay, if you want more data, you can actually go to Kaggle dataset, Kaggle datasets. All right, so kaggle.com and /dataset. You will get a lot of dataset here. You will get all kinds of dataset for free. All right, so if you want COVID cases dataset, diabetes dataset, you just click on here and download this dataset from here. Okay, so yeah, that is there. But for the simplicity, I am going to just use my simple dataset, which is the student data. It only has the 50 data. All right. In the future, of course, we are going to try a bigger data. All right. So now we have the data, and I want you guys to download this. And when you download this, copy the path of the file. If you're using Mac, simply press Option and right click, copy student.csv as path name. Okay. So this way you'll get the path name. And if you're using Windows, I'm sure you know how to get the path name. All right. So what you'll do is python manage.py. Command name is this import data, and then this path. Okay, python manage.py, import data, and this path. All right, and this function, handle function, is just printing the path name. Okay, so we are just making sure we are getting the correct output or not. You see, we are able to print the file path. All right, next we'll move forward. So once we get this file path, then what we need to do is, we need to read this file, right? So in order to read the file, we need to open the file, correct? So we will open this file with the statement. Okay, with open, it will take file path, comma, we will open this file with the read mode. Okay, so if you say read mode, it just means that we are going to open the file with the read only mode. Okay, so if you write W, it will be write mode. Okay, so we just need to read the file, so we will use read mode and as file. Okay, so you might be asking, why am I using with statement? What is this with statement, right? So when you work with files or network connections or database connections, you always need to open the files or establish the connections. When the connection is established or the file is opened, you also need to make sure whether the file is being closed properly or not. It is same with the network connections or database connection as well. If you establish the connection, you must make sure the connection is properly being closed or not. So in our case, we are not working with connections. We are working with the opening the files, right? If you don't close the files properly, you will end up getting the errors, or you will face some kind of resource leaks and all that. And this could also lead to a lot of other problems as well. Okay, so when you use this with statement to open the file, it will automatically closes the file the moment your code exits the block. Okay, even if it encounters any errors in the file, it just makes sure that the file is closed before it throws you an error. Okay, so this is one of the outstanding behavior of with statement, and it also prevent the resource leaks and ensures the files are being properly closed even if something unexpected happens. Okay, so that is the major reason why we should use with to open the files, or why we should use with to establish the connections. All right, so next we will go ahead and read the file. Here in this line, we just opened the file. Okay, now we want to read the file, right? So we have something called dict reader. All right, so let me say reader is equal to csv dot dict reader. Because we are using CSV, we need to import the CSV module. Okay, just say import CSV. Okay, Next, we are using this reader is equal to csv.dictReader. Okay, so this dictReader is a Python function that reads a CSV file and returns an iterator that generates dictionaries for each row in the CSV file. For example, if you look at this Insertdata.py, so the data set is in the form of a list of dictionaries, right? So here you see a roll number, name, roll number is actually the key, and this is the value, key value pair, right? So this is the data set. And if you look at our CSV that we are accepting from here, from this import data command, the format is in the form of, like this. Okay, so of course, this one is actually missing a roll number because in the models.py table is having the roll number field, but this one doesn't have. But in your case, when you download this file, you will definitely have the roll number field as well. Okay, so I will correct this file and upload it in the video. But anyhow, so this data is in the form of CSV, and this dictReader will actually convert this data, okay, into a list of dictionary form. All right, so that's why we use csv.dictReader. All right, and this dictReader is actually specifically designed to handle the CSV files, okay, and it considers the first row. For example, it considers the first row as a column header, okay, and other subsequent row contains the data values. All right, so the column header is nothing but the field name of your database table. Okay, so always make sure this column header matches with the this database table fields. Okay, so otherwise you will get errors or your data will be inserted into different or wrong field. Okay, so of course I'll correct this one. Okay, so don't worry about this. And next, we are actually taking a reader is equal to csv.dictReader, and so dictReader is a function that takes file, okay, that takes this file. All right, now if you want to print this and see what this dictReader has, you can simply say reader. Okay, so if you run this, and you can see, so this is actually the dictReader object. Okay, so it is returning this dictReader object. If you want to see what is inside this dictReader, so you can simply take a for loop, for a row in reader, for row in reader. Okay, reader is not a function, it is a variable, and you can simply print the row. Okay, you can simply print the row, and now you will see the data in this form. Okay, so what it has done, it just took the data like this and it just converted the data into list of dictionary format. Okay, now next what we can do, we can actually create the data. How to create? Student dot objects dot create, student objects dot create, and inside here we are going to pass each row. All right, but before that I'll take a pause and I will correct this. Okay, first I'll correct this because this column header is not matching with my model, right? So my model has a roll number, name and age, but this data has student name, age only, right? I need to put the roll number as well. I'll take a pause and I'll come back once this data is ready. Okay, all right, my data is ready now. So it has a roll number, name and age. All right, so always make sure your column header matches with your model's field name. All right, okay, so next what we need to do, we need to actually, okay, let me go back to this import data.py. So here student.objects.create, so inside here we need to pass the data, right? So if you look at this Insertdata.py, so what we are doing here, student.objects.create, roll number equal to data. So you can do this, but so this is not the correct way, because what if you have a lot of columns? Okay, currently we only have 3 columns, roll number, name and age, but what if we have like 20-50 columns? So it is impossible for us to write everything here, right? So instead of that, we can simply use star star row. Okay, simply write star star row. Okay, you can call it as asterisk as well. So asterisk asterisk row. All right. So what this star star row will do is it will actually loop through each record and creates the new record in the database. Okay, so you don't have to specifically say a row of roll number like that. You don't have to say like this. Okay, so row of roll number. So this will be, this is not a good idea. So otherwise simply say row. Okay, so it will automatically match everything and insert the data. All right, so now once the data is inserted, of course we are going to see the data inserted successfully, right? Let's run this command and see if that inserts the data or not. Before that, instead of saying data inserted, we'll say data imported from CSV successfully. Okay, all right, now let me hit enter. Okay, so you can see data imported from CSV successfully, and let's go to the admin panel and see if all the data has been inserted or not. Okay, I need to run the server. Python manage.py run server. All right, let's refresh. Okay, so yeah, you go to this students and you can see all the data has been inserted. Okay, so this way you can insert the data into the database using a CSV file. All right, so in the next video we will make this functionality a little bit more smarter. All right, let me highlight you something here. This import data command is only importing the data to the student table. Okay, so the command name is import data, but it is only working for the single model, right, which is a student. But what if we have many tables such as student, customer, products, orders, etc., right? So are we going to create a different command for importing the data to each of the tables? No, right? So we must write the code in such a way that one import command should work for every tables or models. Okay, so that is the motive of this video. In this video, let's make our handle function to automatically look for the model and import the data into it. Okay, so from our side, we will only give the CSV path and the model name, or the table name. Okay, so in this case, our proposed command will be python manage.py import data, and then we specify the file path, and then we also tell the model name. Okay, so in this command only we are going to specify the file path as well as the model name. Okay, so because this import data command should work for all the models in our project. Okay, so let's try to implement this. Okay, so before that, one very important thing you should always remember, your CSV column header must match your database tables field names. Okay, so currently we only have one model, right? What we have to do is we will create another model. All right, we'll create another model, and let's say class customer. Okay, we'll create a customer and models.model. Let's say customer ID. We will go with the customer name is equal to models.char field. Okay, let me quickly write this. Okay, so this is models.model. All right, so I will say country is equal to models.char field. Okay, so maybe 20. Okay, so this is just a very simple model. str name will be return self dot customer name. All right, so at this point I will do the make migration python manage.py make migrations. I'll quickly run migrate. Okay, so now we have customer model and the student model. Okay, So this way we can create any number of model in any number of apps. Right now we only have one app, which is data entry, right? So even if we have multiple apps, then also our import data command should be able to look for or the search for that model that we are specifying in the command, right? So anyways, we have two models now, for example. Now what I want to do is I want to run this command with the file path and the model name. Okay, so we will actually make this code a little bit smarter. All right, so what I'm going to do is, as you know, we are taking two keyword arguments, right? One is file path and another one is model name. So here what we need to do, we need to actually take another argument, right? So inside this add arguments. So now here we'll say parser dot add argument. Okay, parser dot add argument. If you want to take another one, you can simply add it here like this. Okay, so that's how you allow the arguments inside the command. Okay, so parser dot add argument. So in our case, we need the model name, right? So the name will be model name, and then type is str, and we'll give a simple help text message, which is can say name of the model. All right, now we got the model name, and we'll receive that model name inside the handle function. So here we'll say model name is equal to how to receive kw args. Okay, inside this kw args we will have the model name. All right, so just copy this and put it here. Okay, so now we have the file path and model name inside the handle function, and then we are going to search for the model inside all the installed apps. Okay, even if we have one single data entry app in our case right now, but in bigger projects there will be a lot of apps, right? So that's why we need to go inside all the apps and see or look for the model name that we are specifying here in the command, right? So that's the reason we will actually say, I'll first comment this. Okay, so this feature is a little bit confusing if you are a beginner, right? So that's why I'm going to say search for the model across all installed apps. Okay, search for models across all installed apps. We are searching for the models that we are specifying inside the command, right? So next we'll say for app config in apps dot get app config. Okay, apps dot get app config. Don't worry, I'll explain this. Now before that, we want to import all the apps first. Okay, so here we are actually importing one model, right? But we don't want to import one model because this feature or this command is going to work for all the models. So that's why we are going to say from django.apps import apps. Okay, we are importing all the apps in our Django application. Okay, so this is the way how we import all the apps from django.apps import apps. So now we are looping through all the apps. So here I'm saying apps.getAppConfig. So what this means is, so this get app config will have the metadata of all the apps. Okay, so let me copy this. Okay, let me copy this get app config method, and I'll go to Google and search for this get app config. Go to the first result, and here you will see okay, so this is also the example, but don't worry about that. I'll show you. See here, I just searched for this get app config. Okay, so here it is saying apps.getAppConfigs, right? So it returns an iterable of app config instances. Okay, so this instance will have, if I click on this app config, okay, so this instance will have the configuration objects that store metadata for an application. Okay, it will have all the metadata. That means we are actually interested in taking the app name, right? We are interested in taking the app name. Why? Because we want to go inside that app and search for the model, right? So in order to search for the model, of course, we want to go inside every app, right? Because model can be multiple, a lot of model can be there, and a lot of apps also can be there, right? So that is the reason, in order to look for the model, first we have to go inside each app one by one, right? So to get all the apps, we are accessing this apps.getAppConfig. Okay, so this is actually returning the object, and that object will have attributes. Let me show that again. Okay, so this, it will have the metadata attributes. Okay, so here you can see some of the attributes are dot name and dot label and dot verbose name, path, default, and default auto config, right? So these are actually the the attributes that we can access. We are actually interested in taking the label. Okay, so because like this we store inside the settings, right? Okay, like this, right? So that is why we need to access the label. Okay, so here what we are saying, we are looping through all the apps. Okay, so that's why we write apps.getAppConfig. Okay, now here what we will do is we will try to search for the model. Okay, try to search for the model inside the app. Okay, so now we'll take a try block. So we need the model, right? And what we'll do is model is equal to apps.getModel. Apps.getModel. Why this get model? So in order to get the model, we need to go to there is this get model function. Okay, so this get model function will actually take the app name. Okay, it will actually take the app label. Okay, app label, and it will take the model name. Okay, it will take model name. Okay, so app label and model name it will take, and it will return the model. Okay, so now let me show you this get model function. I'll copy this get model and go to this same page. So here in this page, Control F, and you can see get model is here. Let me show you. Wait, let me scroll down. Yeah, here you can see. Okay, so apps.getModel, it is taking app label and it is also taking model name. Okay, so require ready is equal to true, don't worry. So you can, this is optional. Okay, you don't need to specify this require ready equal to true, but these things are important. In order to get the model, you have to give this get model function app label and model name. So here it returns the model with the given app label and the model name. Okay, so that's why we are using get model function. Now we want the app label, right? So what is the app label? It is just the app name. Okay, so how to get the app label now? We have the app config, right? We are looping through this apps.getAppConfig. So this is giving us the attribute. We can access one of the attribute of this object, right? So that this can be anything. Okay, so even if you write for I, this is also going to work. So this, don't worry about this app config. Okay, so if you write this I, then here also you write I. Okay, so that's a iterator. Okay, so for app config, here what I'll do is I'll say app config.label. All right, it is also taking the model name. So where is this model name? Here, the model name that we are giving from this model. Okay, so it is taking the model name and it is taking the app config, and it will return the model as per the as per the documentation. Okay, it should return the model. So that's what we want. Okay, we want the model, right? Why we want the model? We want to store data into the model that we are receiving from here. Okay, because we don't know the model, right? So our code don't know the model. We know the model name, but our code will get the model and put it here. Okay, so once we get the model, okay, so consider there are a lot of model. and it is looping through the apps and it is trying to get the model. But if the model is found, then we will break this loop. Okay, we'll say stop. Stop searching. Stop searching once the model is found. Okay, so once the model is found, we don't want to search further. Okay, so in the except block, if we don't get the model, we will actually get the lookup error. Okay, we will get lookup error. How do I know lookup error I'm going to get? Because there is this documentation here in this page. If you search for this lookup error, here you can see apps.getModel, right? So it is taking app label, model name, and returning the model. If we don't get the model, then it raises lookup error if no such application or model exists. Okay, so that's why I'm specifying if we get lookup error. That means if my model does not found, then I'm going to continue searching, right? I'm going to continue searching. Okay, so why I'm going to continue searching? If in one app my model could not found, then I'm going to search for another app, right? Because there can be a multiple apps inside the project. That's why I'm going to continue searching. I'm going to say model not found in this app, continue searching in next app. Okay, continue searching in next app. Okay, so this is actually looping through all the apps. Okay, so that's why inside all the apps we are trying to get the model. If we find the model, then we are going to stop searching. If we don't find the model, then we are going to search in the next app, right? So that is actually the code. Okay, so now what we will do is we'll first handle the error. Okay, so let's consider if we don't find the model in any of the app, right? So that means our model will be empty, right? If not model. Okay, so and you know what, we are calling this model here. That means this code is going to go here, and that's why we need to initialize this model. Okay, otherwise we'll get error. Model is equal to none. Okay, if we don't find model at all, then we are going to raise the command error. Okay, raise command error. Okay, so command error will actually come from, you know, same place from where we get the paste command. Just say command error. Okay, so if the model could not found, then we are raising command error. So in the command error, now what we are going to say, we will say model name, right? Inside the model name, model name not found in any app. Okay, in any app. All right, so this is actually the command error handling. And then if we got the model, then what we are going to do, we are actually going to replace this student with that model that we received here. Okay, so now this will be the correct model that our code knows where to insert. Okay, so here model dot objects create the rows. Okay, and yeah, so that's about the coding part. And as I said before, we should always keep in mind that our CSV column header must match your database tables field names. Okay, so we will actually try the model first. Okay, so currently we know that there's only one app and there is only two models. Okay, so we will try to put the data inside some different model. Let's say test model. Okay, there is no model called test, right? We should get the error now. Line number 22. Okay, let's see what is wrong with this. All right, so this is actually get app configs. It is not get app config, it is a plural. Okay, get app configs. I'm sorry about that. Now let's run it again. Okay, now we got the command error. Model test not found in any app. Of course, we don't have any model called app. I mean test, right? Now this models are actually they starts from this capital letter, capital S. Okay, so these are actually the capitalized letters. Okay, so for that reason, we will actually make this capital. Okay, so model name dot capitalize. Okay, so that even if you give in a lowercase letter, it will become uppercase. Okay, all right, now command error is working, and now it is the time to test our code, right? So what we'll do is we'll try to import student data to this student model itself. Okay, so because currently I don't have other data here, let me data set. Yeah, I only have student data. Okay, so let's see if that works. All right, I'm going to say python manage.py import data and this student data and the model, right? So the model will be student. Okay. If you want to make it capital or small, okay, our code is going to handle, all right, using this capitalize method, and I think this should work. All right, let's hit enter. Okay, now you can see data imported from CSV successfully. Okay, so if I want to see python manage.py run server, okay, let me run. Yeah, here I can see there are a lot of data has been added to the database. Okay, so similarly, all right, I only have students, right? Because I've created the new model customer, but I did not register it inside the admin. So that is the reason it is not showing in the admin panel. Okay. First import customer model and just say admin dot site dot register customer. Okay, admin dot site dot register customer. All right, so now it will work. Okay. So here there's no data yet, so I don't have customer data here. Maybe if you guys have some time, you make a simple CSV file, so have some dummy data inside that. So just make sure that table header or the column header, let me show you this. So the column header is same as, you know, this column header, roll number, name and age is same as this thing, right? Roll number, name and age. Okay, so when you create the customer data from your side, just make sure these column header matches with this one. Okay, so if this is customer name and country, then your column header should also be customer name and country. Okay, so that is one thing. Otherwise your data will be misplaced, or your data can, you know, import it into some other fields. Okay, so that is very important thing you should always keep in mind. Okay, so try this. If you get some error or any issues while importing this import data command, just feel free to ask me. Okay, so I'll help you. Okay, so that's about, I hope you understood this code. Okay, if you don't understand, feel free to ask me any questions. So currently we are done with the importing the data, so that's why we will push the code. So first thing you have to say git status. Okay, so git status is just because if you want to see any untracked files. All right, so these are some of the untracked files. So after that I'll say git add -a. Now once you're done with adding the files to the git, then if you say git status, you can see all the files have turned to green. Okay, so now you can say git commit -m, and every commit needs a commit message. So in this commit we actually worked on importing the data, right? So we'll say import data from the CSV. All right, at this point you can say git push origin main. So this will push all the code to the GitHub. All right, so now our code has been pushed to the GitHub. All right, so now if you want to see your git, then you can go to your repository and see. Let me go to my repository, and from here you can see. Okay, from here you can see all the commits. All right, here actually you can see the import data from CSV. Okay, that was the end of this mini course. I hope you have learned a lot of things about custom management commands in Django. If you want to learn more and build the projects on top of what you have learned so far, I have an advanced Django course for you. You can go to ratank.com and look for this full course, Automate the Boring Stuff with Django. This is one of the best Django courses available on the internet. It will teach you the real skills that you need for your software development journey. That being said, if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and share your feedback on the comments below. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one.